You ever wake up thinking it's just going to be another average Friday, only to find out you're about to become the star of the neighborhood drama? Yeah, buckle up, because that's where this wild ride starts. And trust me, by the end, you'll be asking yourself if karma really does keep a ledger. So let's get right into it. For anyone who's been following my stories, you probably know a little about my wife's so-called best friend. Let's call her Melissa, and let's just say if there was ever a contest for world's most entitled frenemy, she'd medal every year. She's the kind of person who'll flash you that sweet smile, then turn around and roast you alive to anyone who'll listen. Think Regina George, but older and with better Wi-Fi. Now, I promised my wife Danielle that I'd keep our faces and private stuff off the internet, but after what happened this weekend, I just had to share. See, Melissa has always thought she's 3 chess moves ahead of everyone else, and when Trevor, a buddy of ours, bought the lot next to us, but then had a bad accident and made me his property manager, well, that was the start of the show. Trevor only bought the place for the giant old car lot, big flat asphalt, perfect for parking equipment during the rainy season. He even had me put up those massive no parking violators will be towed. Signs clear as daylight, so nobody could ever say they didn't see them. Fast forward to last Friday, I'm elbows deep trying to fix up an RC submarine in my office when Danielle bursts in waving her phone like she's discovered buried treasure. You have to see this, she says. And there's Melissa live streaming for her army of Facebook fans going on and on about how she's everyone's therapist, always giving advice, and how she just needs some me time like she's carrying the weight of the world. But then she drops the real bomb. She starts bragging about parking her 46-foot, $42,000 camper right in Trevor's lot. Claims Trevor gave her permission, which is news to both me and reality. Her plan: leave it right there for 3 days just to rub my face in it because I wouldn't lend her my truck. You better believe I stomped outside, and sure enough, there it was, her giant camper smack dab in the middle of the lot, grinning at me like a middle finger on wheels. Most folks would get mad. Me, I just smiled, because I knew for once Melissa had really stepped in it. See, as the legal agent for Trevor's property, I could have anything towed off that lot, especially unauthorized vehicles. And if you've ever dealt with towing companies, you know there's 2 kinds. The kind who'll cut you a break, and the kind who'll charge you the state maximum for every inch they move your wheels. You already know which one I called. Garage B. The guys who'll tow your car for looking at them funny. I dialed up Mike, and within half an hour, Melissa's pride and joy was off that lot faster than you can say. Should have read the sign. But here's where it gets good. I didn't tell her right away. Oh no, I let her sweat all weekend, just like she wanted me to stew over her camper. Monday rolls around and Melissa goes live on social media again, talking about how she's about to go check on her camper for another laugh. That's when I hopped on my own stream and dropped the news. Hey Melissa, hope you enjoyed your break. I had your camper towed, can't let people just park wherever they want. But hey, don't worry, it's safe with Premier Towing. The internet exploded, her fans, my friends' nosy neighbors. Everyone tuned in to see the fallout. Some people called me a jerk. Most cheered me on like I just won a medal in neighborhood justice. Melissa blew up my phone. You had no right, she said. Actually, I had every right. I shot back. Those signs are pretty hard to miss. Your husband must need glasses. She went full victim mode online, crying about how it had cost her $2,500 in fees, begging people to help, hinting at starting a GoFundMe. Spoiler, nobody donated a dime. Meanwhile, I called Trevor just to let him know what happened, in case she tried to get cute with the story. His response, good. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Even Danielle, my wife, had to laugh, and she's usually Switzerland in these things. Melissa's camper stayed in that impound lot, racking up storage fees. She tried to play it like folks would help her out, maybe tow it back for gas money, but everyone knew better than to trust her. I owe you one promises. Sometimes a reputation really does precede you. All right, let me shift gears here, because if you think that's the only HOA drama I've got, you haven't lived in suburbia long enough. Let me tell you about tractors, power plays, and the art of well-timed payback. This next bit, it's the reason I still love property law. See, years ago, before the developers turned my neck of the woods into a cookie-cutter subdivision, my grandfather left me his house and 2 acres of land. Gravel driveway, edge of the woods, nothing fancy but solid. After 5 years, the neighborhood formed an HOA, you know the type, but my place was grandfathered in, so technically their rules didn't apply. Or so I thought. Most neighbors were fine, but then Mrs. Peterson moved in. Picture a human tape measure crossed with a chihuahua, always yapping, always checking, never happy. She got herself elected to the HOA board in under a month, and suddenly I'm public enemy number 1. First, it's a polite note about my old Ford tractor being visible from the street. Then a formal letter, $100 fine attached, claiming it's an eyesore and brings down property values. Now, I don't do well with people making up rules for land that's been in my family since Eisenhower was president, so I brought my property deed and a fresh dose of stubborn to their next board meeting. Explained in small words that my property wasn't subject to their HOA. Board president just shrugged. Peterson started ranting about community standards. I told them where they could stick their fines. That only made it worse. Every week a new fine. $100, $150, $200. They started inventing violations like it was a contest. 2 months later, they said I owed $200 and threatened to put a lien on my house. That was the last straw. Called my lawyer guys, Sharp loves paperwork. He confirmed what I already knew, they had zero legal authority over me. But then he found something I'd never noticed before. Turns out I didn't just own the land and house. I owned Maple Road, the half-mile shortcut that every board member used to shave 3 miles off their commute to the highway. The county used to have an easement, but they'd given it up, which meant legally it was mine. All mine. So you know what I did? Went to the hardware store and bought chains, padlocks, and the biggest private road HOA members, especially not welcome sign you've ever seen. Installed it all late Sunday. Monday morning, I poured my coffee, sat on my porch, and watched as Mrs. Peterson came flying down Maple Road, slammed on her brakes so hard you could smell the rubber. 12 cars had to turn around that first hour. My phone blew up. I ignored every call. By noon, Peterson and her buddies were on my porch waving deeds and demanding I open the road. I just smiled and showed them my deed, told them the chain wasn't coming down until the HOA left me and my tractor alone. The president tried to bargain drop the fines, open the road. I told him he could walk to work for all I cared. Mrs. Peterson accused me of being petty. I said maybe, but at least my pettiness doesn't cost me an extra hour of driving every week. For 2 weeks, they took the long way around school zones, traffic lights, the whole mess. Peterson even tried to get people to boycott my landscaping business, but most of my clients thought she was the joke. The board had an emergency meeting. After plenty of drama, they caved. Sent me a letter dropping all fines, promising to leave me and my property alone if I reopened Maple Road. I waited a week, then agreed with conditions. They had to admit in writing they had no authority over me, pay for a proper survey, and promised never to bug me again. They folded in 48 hours. Now Maple Road is open and my tractor sits out front right where it belongs, sometimes joined by its brand new friends. Mrs. Peterson never did say another word, but I see her slow down every time she drives by, maybe hoping for a different ending. And you know what? Sometimes the best justice is just letting people taste the consequences of their own pettiness. So what do you think? Was I wrong to play hardball? Or did the HOA get exactly what they deserved? Drop your thoughts down below. And hey, if you've ever had a run-in with a petty neighbor, a power-mad HOA, or just a Melissa of your own, let's hear those stories. Hit that comment box, share your wildest tales of justice or revenge, and let's settle once and for all is standing up for yourself, the only way to win in suburbia.